Hey guys, Mike from Urban Automotive, Oakville, Ontario, Canada. I get a lot of questions regularly from customers that are looking to upgrade their vehicles. And the number one thing seems to be the hottest trend right now is people want vehicles that have all-wheel drive. They're looking for SUVs, sport utility vehicles, for stability and for better control, traction, handling, that sort of thing. A lot of the manufacturers are leaning towards that. This video is designed, or hopefully will be designed, to help show what is involved with that system, because a lot of people don't realize how the system works and what it takes to maintain that system, primarily for warranty. All these cars that have got all the fancy components to make these wheels turn, bottom line is it takes effort, it takes control systems to maintain these systems. So on the rack today we have a 2014 Cadillac XTS4V. That's a twin turbo, high powered vehicle. And we're doing the differential service. So come on down underneath. And this is Andrew. Some of you may know him as Oakville's most eligible bachelor. He's here to talk about it with us.
So what we're doing on this vehicle, we're changing the fluids in the both front and rear differentials. This one's equipped with two differentials, one here at the rear and another one up front over here, right beside the exhaust. And this takes the power transferred from the transmission. This is a primarily front wheel drive vehicle. You can get these in just a front wheel drive, but they add this PTO, or power takeoff unit, to supply power to the rear of the vehicle. We also have an electronic unit here which controls the amount of torque being applied to the rear of the vehicle depending on the conditions being driven in. Whether you're in a slip mode and you need more torque applied to the rear to turn them. Like I said, we're changing all the fluids on this.
And why is that important, Drew? Why tell people why it's important to change the fluid?
It's all about preventative maintenance. Fluids and such are a lot cheaper than the components that they are in. It's just a lot cheaper to properly maintain them, regularly maintain them, keep the fluid clean. The units will last longer and without issue. I mean, everything gets dirty from use. It's kind of like dust in your house. You get dirt and debris and that's more from the internal part. So we're going to drain the fluid out of this rear differential here. Most important thing to do first, take out your fill plug. You don't want to take your drain plug out first and then find out that you've got an issue with your fill plug and you can't take your fill plug out, because you already want to make sure that you can always put fluid back into the system. If you drained it out and you can't take your fill plug out, then you're kind of in trouble. So fill plug comes out, a little bit of fluid coming up here. This has a sealing washer on here, which is a good practice to replace those. There's also a magnet on the tip of this. You can see a little bit of metal filings, and they're very, very fine filings, but this is what happens within differentials and moving parts. You know, parts wear. And
so in this case, General Motors recommends doing this service at about $150,000 on these vehicles, and which is what this vehicle is close to. And this is exactly the reason why. This metal filings that you see here on the end flows through and act like sandpaper. The fine grit will eventually tear up the inside, and you see what we have. That is why it's important to do this type of service.
And as well, we're just going to use a catch bucket here so we can have a closer look at the fluid when it comes out. You can see it's kind of like a dark brown. Again, magnetic tip on the end of this plug here, which catches majority of the filings, and it helps keep it from recirculating within the differential, which If it does stay within the fluid, it can help tear up the internals of it. The new fluid, we'll get a bottle.
Sure. Now there are two fluids for this system. One is for the electronic portion and one is for the gearing. Is that not correct, Rick?
Yes, actually. And they all have different,
Viscosity?
well, viscosity, they're different part numbers basically from GM. You need to put in the specific fluid in, like basically for each differential. Some of these vehicles come with a Positrack rear diff, in which you have to add the friction modifier to the fluid so that the internals will continue to work as they were intended. If you don't, they'll just it'll tear them up. They will need friction modifier. Again, the old fluid's pretty dirty. New fluid is pretty clear compared to what's coming out. And again, this is all, there is no issue with any of these differentials right now. At this point, this
So
is
the
all
car has no drivability. This is strictly
preventative maintenance.
to maintain the vehicle's warranty, which is good in this particular case for 160,000 kilometers.
Yeah. Fluids are cheaper than components.
And as luck would have it for this customer, we are cheaper than the dealer, which is why the vehicle's here and we're performing the service here. So if you have a Cadillac, BMW, Mercedes, Audi that has an all-wheel drive system and you have had a quote from the dealer, by all means give us a call, subscribe below, contact us through the videos, through our website, and we'd be happy to provide a quote for you. Thanks for watching.